Start this off by placing a small saucepan onto your stovetop, pour in 240 milliliters of water and 60 milliliters of full fat milk. Turn the heat to medium and heat the mixture until just warm. Alternatively, you can use a microwave for 30 to 40 seconds, and if you want to be really specific, heat it to 40 degrees Celsius or 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Then remove it from the heat. In a large mixing bowl, add in 2 1/4 teaspoons or 7 grams of instant dry yeast, 2 tablespoons or 25 grams of caster sugar, and the warmed water and milk. Whisk the mixture well to ensure it's fully combined. Then once mixed, place over a tea towel and allow it to sit for 10 minutes, and during this time the yeast will feed off the sugar and create a froth on top of the water and the milk. After 10 minutes you'll notice a good amount of froth. Add in 375 grams of bread flour, and you can substitute it for plain flour, but bread flour contains higher amounts of protein and produces more gluten, which produces a lighter, fluffier loaf with a greater volume. Add in 60 grams of softened unsalted butter, and 1 1/4 teaspoons of sea salt flakes. Using clean hands, make sure to mix all of this together until all of the ingredients are combined and that there's no lumps of butter. And you'll end up with a nice sticky dough. Make sure to keep on hand 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup of bread flour for dusting and kneading. Then dust the bench with about 4 tablespoons of flour and tip out the sticky dough. Then with any stuck dough in the bowl, just add in a small amount of flour and rub it together, and this will remove and avoid any wastage. Generously dust the dough with flour. Then using the palm of your hand, push through the dough, tuck back in and repeat the process for roughly 4 to 5 minutes or until the dough is smooth and no longer sticky. And you will need to add a small amount of flour when necessary just to achieve a nice smooth dough. Alternatively, you can put this in a stand mixer with a dough hook attachment and knead for 3 to 4 minutes on low, but I understand not everyone owns one, and I find it's always better to make bread by hand. Once the dough is no longer sticky and nice and smooth, we want to shape it into a smooth ball, just like that. In a large mixing bowl, pour in 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil and using a kitchen cloth, wipe it around the bowl, and this will prevent our dough from sticking when proving. Pop the dough into the bowl, place over a warm damp tea towel and allow this to proof in a warm dark space for 1 to 1.5 hours or until doubled in size. And if you didn't know, proving is the rest time in baking that activates the yeast in the dough. The yeast consumes carbohydrates and expels the carbon dioxide gas that causes the dough to expand and rise. After 1 hour and 15 minutes, the dough has doubled in size. Give the dough a few punches to knock the air out of it. Then with some kitchen cloth and 1 teaspoon of unsalted butter, lightly grease a 9 by 5 inch bread pan, making sure it's completely coated all over. Lightly dust the bench again with about 2 tablespoons of bread flour and tip out the dough. Give it a light dusting of flour on top and repeat the kneading process again, but only for 30 to 40 seconds, just to knock any remaining air out of it. Shape the dough into an oval, and using a rolling pin, roll the dough to roughly 8 inches wide, 15 inches long and about 1/2 inch thick. Once rolled out, gently roll up one side of the dough towards the opposite end, creating a log. And make sure that the meeting point is tucked in at the bottom. Place the dough into the greased pan, and then either using some cling wrap that's had some oil rubbed on it, a warm damp tea towel, or another pan, cover up the dough and allow it to proof again in a warm dark space for another hour or until doubled in size. 40 minutes into the second proving, preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. After 1 hour, remove the cover from the dough, and then we're going to bake this in our oven for 30 to 35 minutes or until deeply golden brown, and make sure to rotate the loaf halfway through. Then after 30 minutes, our dough is looking really golden and it feels and smells absolutely fantastic. Allow this to sit for 5 minutes to cool down slightly, then carefully remove it from the pan and place it onto a wire rack. Now it's up to you, you can slice this whilst it's hot or you can allow it to cool down. This looks absolutely fantastic and the smell around my house is amazing. It has a really good softness to it and a really great crust. It also tears really well, which is a good sign. The flavour in this is absolutely incredible. It's soft, fluffy, it has a beautiful crust on it, and it's so simple to make. This recipe makes 1 loaf, but can easily be doubled, tripled, and so on. This can be kept in an airtight container in a dark, cool space for up to 4 days, and it can also be frozen for up to 1 month. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay safe, thanks for watching, and enjoy.